We believe that to win, you have to remember who your customer is, and you point all your talent and resources at solving the problem that that customer has. When you do that, your reputation locally will spread like wildfire, and that's how you become successful.
Welcome back to Kim Daily TV. Today, our special guest, she is the CEO of a service-based organization called Stellar Brands. Please welcome to the studio, Sherry Rose. Sherry, welcome to Kim Daily TV.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
She is a rock star. So, Sherry, let's just open the conversation by having you tell my followers, my audience, who Stellar Brands is.
Stellar Brands is a group of home service businesses that share a common culture and belief in the value of franchising. And we believe in local. So we believe that people who love their local communities and want to bring essential services to their neighbors are great fits for Stellar. And so we love our brands, we love our franchisees, and we just think there's so much potential and there's just such great opportunity in franchising. We just want to help spread the word.
I love it. So, which of the home services brands are under the Stellar umbrella?
So today we have four. So Restoration One is our disaster restoration brand. Blue Frog Plumbing and Drain is, of course, plumbing and drain. The Driveway Company fixes concrete driveways. And Soft Rock is a really unique company where they do a rubber coating, which is warranted on any surface. So it could be a pool deck or a driveway or a walkway. And what we love about that is it creates a safe environment for homes or businesses. So all of our businesses do really unique things around either the home or a commercial building. So some of them may be considered dirty jobs, but that's what I love about them.
They're essential. Okay,
They're
so
essential.
let's back up a little bit. So, I have to ask the obvious question. So, these home services businesses are not super sexy, as you mentioned, they're more essential. And, we're females talking about probably what would be stereotypically deemed as a male dominated industry. All of those, like, let's be real. So, why don't we tell the followers a little bit about your background and what led you into franchising and wanting to be the CEO of these companies?
So, being a CEO is kind of a surprise. As you know, as you talk to prospects that come out of the corporate world, like everybody's career has kind of meandered, right? And things have led them to different things. And for me, I don't know that I ever grew up thinking, someday I'm going to be a CEO. But it's happened, and it's interesting how it's happened. For me, I grew up in a family business. So my dad was a welder, my mother ran the office. And so dirty jobs or blue collar jobs, that's all I ever knew. And for me, that was filled with incredible people, families, just everything about it. And so when you grow up as a product of a family business, I knew early on that I was never called to own my own business, but my natural inclination was to support. So even as a kid, my mother used to call it a team, right? Like as a family, you become a team when the business is really, doing everything for your family. It's supporting your home, your education, the meals you put on your table. And so we always were raised in team, one. And two, I just was raised, I'm from the Northeast, and it was just very practical. It wasn't what boys or girls could do. I was always raised that you could do anything. And again, when you're a team, you're doing anything to make the business work, literally. So you kind of get barriers like that thrown out the window. I thought I was going to be a teacher, but through just incredible experiences in the corporate world, mentors, I've just ended up in franchising and with expanding roles. And what I've loved about franchising is it just brings me back to my family roots,
Right.
especially when I meet husbands and wives or families that want to go into business navigate what that means. I can understand better than most what that actually means.
Right.
And I just think it's a high, high calling. And I just see my role as having the honor of helping people make that decision, but then come in and realize their dream being a business owner in their community. So I come at it as a product of a family business. In our mission statement, it really captures for me the essence of not only what I love about this business, but what Stellar means to this business. And the very first line of our mission statement is that we believe that small business is the heart of the American dream.
How do you do the heart
And
thing
I
like this?
is there any better job than to support that? I don't think that there is.
I mean, this is it's so heartwarming just listening to how much you care. Okay, so how does this impact the culture? So you're the CEO, you're the leader of this organization. So that means you're in charge of the culture of this entire organization. So how does where you've come from and where your heart is and how you think about it impact your culture?
One of the best things about franchising is we are actually partners with our franchise partners. We are very aligned. We aren't successful as a franchisor if they aren't successful as a franchisee. You can't get better alignment. So my team and I really approach this that we are in partnership.
Yeah.
And so, as stewards of our brands, it is important that we protect and we grow these brands so that franchisees or prospective franchisees can make decisions on whether or not they want to take that very healthy thing and transplant it into their local neighborhoods and communities. So, we believe in candor. We like talking and getting to root cause. We believe in simplifying the complex. We believe in creating opportunities for franchisees to build successful, profitable businesses. So for us, we care about the top line, of course, but we also care about our franchisees' bottom line because we want them to be there for the long term. So we do a lot of investment in that. We spend our time with that. And we take this all very seriously. And we are just honored to support our franchisees.
I love this. So, okay, so let's talk about these franchisees that you want to attract. What kind of people do you want to attract and what kind of vision? Like, are you looking for those legacy builders since you have like four brands?
The platform brings a unique opportunity for a prospective franchisee who has a vision to grow something big and broad, to pull different concepts together, but have it bound together in culture. So that's what we like about this. I look for people that have a heart for their local community, that are either from the industry, meaning they were a plumber, let's say for Blue Frog, or they want to be able to go ahead and access that specialty within their market and bring that service. So you can come from the industry as a background, you can come from corporate America with that background, and you can get into essential services and you can create an incredible team with great opportunity locally. And I think, as we've come through COVID, et cetera, this idea of essential services has become a big topic as people look at their options if they want to get into business ownership.
Right. So to recap what you just said, so you can take the plumber and put him into a marketing and sales engine to help him grow his license in plumbing, but you can equally take a corporate America executive who just loves the idea that plumbing is essential and I want something long-term sustainable. Even though I'm not the plumber, I know that I can bring the plumber in underneath and be the sales and marketing agent for that plumber who may not want to own their own business, just wants to be the plumber.
Absolutely. And we have both succeeding
Sure.
in our platform. So they're great stories.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, these are family stories, right? These are people stories,
Right.
and they're just incredible. Veterans do very well in these jobs because they see them as a mission. And so a mission to their community, and it's a great transfer of just that incredible military ethos. And so we see lots of different segments being very successful in franchising,
Including female owners?
including female owners. I love watching female owners, especially in non traditional roles, because where they knock it out of the park is they bring that element of team and culture in in a deep way. And I particularly love watching couples because it's a great balance between the two. So, yeah, I think essential services for women to be involved in is an incredible opportunity
Right.
that I think more women should look into.
Yeah, and I agree with you and be less intimidated by it because let's be real, who are you selling to most of the time when it's in the home? Right? The woman is probably the one making the decision on like what we're going to do or making the call to like get the plumber to come. So who better to like, be in business, women are going to probably naturally trust women. Sorry men, but you know what I mean? So there's that element too, right?
I love to see it. I love to see the balance in our local organizations. It's just healthy. It's exciting. It brings the customer more in, to your point. And I think that you can have a passion for this when you think of it as bringing a service, an essential service to your own local community.
It's so good.
Anybody can get passionate about that.
Yeah. I know back when we first got Restoration One as an opportunity to help you guys grow. I mean, I was the queen of Restoration One back in the day. And it's funny because a lot of the people, I had this little sweet spot. My little secret with restoration services, I go after those medical device sales guys typically, right? Who make amazing money, but they're tied to the operating room because you need an opportunity. If they're going to see an opportunity to leave or give up that W 2 job for a better quality of life, but equal pay or more, it's got to be something where there's big, fat, healthy margins and the opportunity to scale. And restoration is totally that. And then when you guys came back after being in the restoration field for a few years and growing that brand and added in the plumbing as the second opportunity, I'm like, well, duh, that makes so much sense, right? Because when you have water in your home, like you're either calling restoration or plumber, they're both needed. And so for you to be able to control that entire experience in a market where you have both, both brands or two, even if it's two franchise owners or even the same franchise owner who can double dip and do the whole thing from start to finish, it just made so much sense. So I hope as I say this to you, those of you who are listening, that, your little bells, the wheels start to turn and you're like, oh, so like that's the opportunity you have here at Stellar Brands, but then they have additional services. And I'm guessing, Sherry, that ideally, do you want these empire building mentalities that come in? And I'm sure you're not starting with all two or four at one time, but where you have the goal again, like you start with one, when you feel stable and ready, now you can add on another and you can keep growing into multiple brands, but with the same platform, as you said, the same culture underneath you.
Yes, because you have different services that you're providing, so you need to be ready
Yeah.
to bring another service in. But you're right; they are related. Water is the common denominator between disaster restoration and plumbing. It's actually water, and so you're exactly right. Between the driveway company and Soft Rock, it's this idea of surfaces.
Right.
So they are actually great combined this way, or then to your point, you just keep going around the home and you're providing more than one service to the home.
Right.
So yeah, they're all cousins and they can come together in a family very easily.
And I remember that the driveway company at one point, the number one franchisee was a woman. Is that true?
Yes,
Yeah. Is she
yes,
now on the leadership side of the company too?
she is. She runs the driveway company in Soft Rock. She's a
She's a little
dynamo.
spit. She's a little
Yes,
fireball, as I recall.
yes, yes. Courtney is really was is her own business, which is in Waco, Texas, and she runs those two companies. So another female leader at Stellar who is doing a stellar job.
Oh, that's so great. Her name is Concrete Courtney, in case you missed that. Your mic cut out for just a minute. It's so good. So, in terms of adding additional brands into Stellar, like what are you is that on the horizon? And if so, what is your philosophy around what are you looking for? Do you buy an already established mom and pop? Do you bring a business from, ground up into your portfolio?
So it's been both. We're being very selective. We would love to bring in another like home service type business that kind of has that cousin, relatability to the other services that we already offer. And so we're super selective. It could be either. It could be a startup or it could be an established. It depends, right? It's all about your time and resources and wanting to make sure that we also don't shortchange our existing franchisees as they are coming up through the organization they choose, but also possibly considering cross buying into others.
Right.
So we would do either.
In closing this, is there one key element to your organization, that really sets what you do apart in your mind? Look, franchising in home services, it's a very competitive landscape, right? And it's competitive because there's a lot of opportunity out there, right? But how if someone's listening to this and they've watched other interviews I've had here on Kim Daly TV and they're thinking, well, what's the real buy-in? Like, why should I consider a Stellar brand over a horsepower brand or something else maybe that they've learned about through Kim Daly?
At Stellar, we are very particular at putting the customer first. And the customer is the person in front of you. And so in plumbing, we want to not just zip in and zip out. We want to actually fix the problem because we want that homeowner to have an excellent experience and get resolution. In disaster restoration, it's very complicated on who the customer is. So we've decided to make it very simple. The customer is the person in front of us, and we'll see everyone else as an ally. But the customer standing in their doorway is our customer. And the same is true for TDC and Soft Rock. That home, usually there's a problem that's being solved that's impacting that family's ability to enjoy a pool deck or to safely have grandchildren run on a sidewalk in the middle of the summer because it gets too hot and it burns feet. And so, how do we make that so that family can have a problem solved? And so, in every one of our stellar brands, as we go back to our mission that we believe small business is the heart of the American dream, we believe that to win, you have to remember who your customer is and you point all your talent and resources at solving the problem that that customer has. When you do that, your reputation locally will spread like wildfire. And that's how you become successful.
Amazing. For anybody who's inspired by Sherry Rose and this conversation about stellar brands, I encourage you to follow the email on the screen right now or reach directly out to me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. That's inquire@kimdaly.tv. We can open up the conversation right here. Give me the opportunity to get you financially pre qualified to make sure that the area that you live in is open and viable for the particular brand that you might be interested in, or maybe we'll decide together what the right brand would be for you. Sherry Rose, thank you so much for being my wonderful and amazing guest today here at Kim Daly TV.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it.
And until next time, my name is Kim Daly, and I want to be your daily coach.